Hey, CeeLo, what's up, man?
What's up, brother? How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good.
Good, good. I'm Tom from I Got Soul.com. It's good to meet you.
Tommy boy, pleasure, pleasure.
Yeah, man, I was just listening to your new single, Lead Me. Now it's stuck in my head already. Man, it's such a dope song.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you think so.
You know what I love about the song is the live instrumentation. I
Yes,
know you recorded, just that vintage soulful sound, man. It's just like that's what I as an R&B lover, that's what I was missing in music right now.
absolutely, man. Something organic, and it's antique. You know what I mean? And I say that because that's the difference between something old, vintage, and antique. You know what I mean?
Right, right,
You have to appreciate something like that for it to appreciate and maintain value. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely nostalgic in that way. Sonically, and it's pretty much a period piece, but we make it current and saying like we make it relevant. You know what I mean?
right. Is that kind of the sound you're going for in this whole new album that you got coming out?
Yeah, man. I think you know, I think that it was a conscious effort on Dan Auerbach's behalf as producer and visionary for the project. We initiated the project by me going to Nashville, and we only had discussed sitting down and writing some songs. So I thought that it would just kind of be a few writing sessions with him, collaborating on songs for the sake of placements,
Right,
here and there. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like I had a downtime. And so like I wanted to make myself useful. And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not?
right.
And of course it was an honor and an acknowledgement, for Dan to have reached out to me in such a way. So I definitely jumped at the opportunity. And so for about three months, we kind of were going back and forth, and I spent like a week or so there over the course of like 3 months. So I probably over the course of like 6 months, I think. So I
Mhm.
spent probably altogether a month's worth of time writing songs. You know what I mean? In week intervals. And then maybe that last time I went, he said, "Hey, it'd be nice to hear what your voice sounds like over these songs." So,
Right.
me being a little, not naive, but nonchalant. I didn't realize that he was kind of, secretly, building a project around me, and so ultimately, in 2 days, I recorded the album, the
Wow.
physical album. So, what he had done from the demos, we wrote songs to acoustic guitar,
Mhm.
ukulele, I mean, like a real simple, like I said, like a real vintage approach of the way that we went about it. And then
Mhm.
he went to compose sheet music, and by the time I got to that, there were elder statesmen, like
Yeah.
gray haired, you know what I mean, like like in their 70s, some of them, you know what I mean, but really seasoned veteran studio musicians, and so on and so forth. And so it was really a unique and original experience for me because I'd never recorded with a live band. So what you're hearing is just the one time down, you know what I mean? So
Wow.
so it was really really an amazing experience for me.
It's amazing. And the new album is called CeeLo Green is Thomas Calloway. What I
Yeah,
love about your music is that you do your own thing. You don't necessarily follow what's trendy. You just make stuff fresh, and it's totally different. Like this new single sounds like nothing else that's out there right now that we can get our hands on. So that's what I love about what you've always come with. So talk about what it's like approaching music in that way.
um I've been really fortunate throughout the span of my career to to offer alternative, and kind of fill these voids with a uniqueness, um and these kind of rare, these rarities, you know what I mean, like. And I like to consider myself a shaman for that old spirit. You know what I mean? Like I got all of those ghosts in me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like I have to exercise it. You know what I mean? Like on occasion. And so I'm just a really honest, and transparent artist. You know what I mean? Like if something is genuine to me, I'll express it. You know what I mean? Like with the utmost confidence. And then I'm also like a win, lose, or draw type of man and artist and individual. And so,
Right.
like, if I commit myself to craft, I'm all in it at 100%. And that type of integrity, and dignity, it has to count for something at the end of the
Yeah.
day. And I've really been fortunate to to act out, you know, in that way, and it really, you know, be the love that's, you know, invested into it, be reciprocated the way that it has. So, you know, I'm
Right.
fortunate in that way because I've been an anomaly, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, almost all of the time throughout the course of my career, you know?
Definitely a beautiful thing. And I don't feel like you get enough credit for your vocal abilities. You know, I think because you have such a unique tone, people sometimes tend to overlook it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember hearing you on the first Outkast album, and from that point, it's like, man, this guy's a true soulful vocalist. Like, where did you develop that, your talents originally as a singer?
Um, you know, earlier today I was describing, you know, the title of the album, CeeLo Green, is Thomas Calloway. And that's basically, you know, a way of trying to define the duality, you know, and that split personality between CeeLo Green, the artist or the persona, and Thomas Calloway, you know, the writer, you know, and author. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like Thomas Calloway writes the songs that CeeLo Green performs. So
Mm.
CeeLo Green is a fan, you know, and
Okay.
you know, and Thomas Calloway is, you know, the man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know, the man that I am, the heart and soul, you know, and you know, and sincerity, you know, of me, you know, and so therefore, I'm saying all of that to say that I'm a fan of the ones that paved the way that came, you know, before me, and so, you know, I think it kind of started. I got cultivated just by, if there's one rule of thumb that I go by, is the fact that in order to be great, one must first have great taste. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? So I kind of always have instinctively gravitated to what's good, you know,
Right.
and what's great, or at least what's good to me. And I have a really diverse listening palette. So I listen to everything from, you know, ABC to REM to
Yeah.
Slipknot to, you know what I mean? You know, to whatever, you know, and I'm just a fan of music. So as far as soul is concerned, yeah, it's just more or less it initiates itself as fanship. You know what I mean? Like in the first form of flattery is imitation, and then
Right.
it becomes a second skin, and then an embodiment, and then you filter it. You know what I'm saying, like, you know, into your own hybrid theory. You know what I mean, like, and
Right.
all of a sudden you become you because of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm nothing without those things that have inspired me. And that's Al Green, that's Bobby Womack. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's Earth, Wind and Fire, that's Jackie Wilson, that's
Right.
Prince. You know what I'm saying? You know, so just to name a few.
That's amazing, man. You know, I was reflecting back earlier on your time on the show The Voice, and you know, a show that really recognized true vocalists. You know, you're a true vocalist, obviously, but I, you know, as an R&B lover myself, I'm not hearing the vocals I want to hear from new R&B artists. So I always found it interesting to hear that, you know, on the show they were definitely promoting that type of stuff, but we're not hearing it in the mainstream. What's your take on what's missing, the missing link of why we're not getting true vocalists coming out nowadays?
Um, because I think you know, art doesn't necessarily imitate life anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, art imitates industry, you
Right.
know, standard and status quo, formula and format, you know? So I think that, you know, we've all bared a witness to people succeed with you know, the least amount of integrity. You know what I mean? Like, um, and you know, is vindicated by viewership, you know what I mean, like success and streaming and numbers and statistics, you know what I'm saying, like, but it lacks soul and it lacks substance, you know what I mean, like,
Yes.
and it's not significant, it's just disposable art, you know what I
Right.
mean, but people don't call music anymore. If you notice, it's now considered content, you know what I mean, so like, I don't know if that's regression or what. I'm saying, like, it just kind of is what it is. You know what I mean? But you know, what I don't appreciate is, and see, if you see with me, like if you have a moment with me, I'll name those namesakes. You know what I mean? Like alongside myself, you know, and I'll
Right.
acknowledge them higher than myself. So um, you know, people can go and reference them. So like, it's always, that's the reason why I was able to function in, you know, with The Voice and do so well, you know, on that platform as well too, because for me, it's always about music education. You know
Right.
what I mean? And so sometimes with the younger generation, man, like they like to believe that they're doing something for the first time. You know what I mean? But like, there is no. I was talking to my son, you know, the other day, and we were just talking about sampling because he's a producer, and I just said, man, like, what a gift and what a glory it is. You know what I mean? Like for those elders and the ancestors to go into those studios, you know, in the 60s and the 70s, and you know what I mean, like, and record all of that beautiful instrumentation. There's so much more to sample from. It's almost like they left us a scroll, or you know what I mean, like it still remains as a bridge or a grail.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just that, you know, as far as content is concerned, you know, radio stations and even television stations, they're more concerned about airspace. You know what I mean? Like in ads. You know what I mean? So it could be just about whatever. Like, we don't realize that there's a daily diet of self-loathing and just, you know, really destructive, you know, non-constructive behavior and narrative. You know what I mean? And since we've been dealing with quarantine and dealing with virus as of late, you know, music, you know what I mean? And, you know, the diet of, you know, what we ingest and internalize and adopt as an ideal, as a thinking, as a function. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that is the truest virus. That has caused us the most detriment, more than this month or so worth of quarantine. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me, you know what I mean? So that the ignorance of that fact, that is our true enemy. You know what I mean? Ignorance is always our truest and most strongest enemy.
Wow, man, that's deep right there. You're right though, man. You didn't speak one wrong statement there.
So we
gotta ask.
We gotta have music education, man. We gotta throw it back.
We got to. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because I believe that we also suffer from ADD. You know what I mean? Like, to where we can only be satisfied for seconds at a time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when there was a time when songs could be 10 minutes long, 16 minutes long, a Herbie Hancock instrumental, you know what I mean? Or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, long gone are the days of free jazz or even disco. You know what I'm saying? Like with the four on the floor, that was a method. That was you know, that was math. That was divine math, and it brought people together, and it was destroyed because, like, you know, it was you know, it was an instrument and a vehicle to bring people together. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you can't conquer unless people are divided. And so, you know, implicated far long before, you know, this social distancing that we're dealing with now.
It's crazy, man. Let me ask you.
They socially distance us with categorizing music. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Don't get me started on that topic, man. I hate when they put labels on stuff, and I even feel bad that I mentioned you in R&B in this conversation, because you can't really fit your music just into one box. You know, I don't want to put it like that. But let me ask you. I love R&B history and music history, and I found something out today I didn't realize. You were on TLC's Waterfall doing background vocals. Is that true? Take us back to that. I'd never heard that story. It's
true. You know, there was a time in Atlanta when we were a really close-knit community, and everybody, you know, there were only a few studios to go to, and you know, only one major label, you know, and so, you know, we called Atlanta a little big city, you know. So with that, how that happened was Rico Wade, 1/3 of Organized Noise, who produced all of the first Goody Mob music and Outkast music, as you guys may know. You know, him and T-Boz from TLC were really good friends, and they had relationships. And you know, to make a long story short, you know, we were all friends. And you know, Marquez Etheridge, a good friend of ours, and who was more or less, you know, one of the resident writers, you know, for the Dungeon, was just more or less a gun. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like he was there for whatever. Like, hey, I got a melody. Oh, I got a hook. Or try this or that. You know what I mean? Like he's just one of those working parts. You know what I mean? You know that gave us all, you know, like a function. So anyway, he wrote Waterfalls, and I demoed the song. I sung the entire song initially.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
wow.
and then they decided to keep me on with the backing vocals, which was cool.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
But I got to ask you about one more song real quick.
Okay.
Um, a Music Soul Child song you had, "Moment in Life." I'm a big music fan, and that one had "Kindred to Family Soul." That's such a unique song. You know,
Yeah, it
like, do you
is.
remember doing that one? You remember
Absolutely.
that?
Absolutely. Me and music befriended each other because we went on tour together. I opened up for music
Mm.
when he was having his moment, and what a moment he had. I mean, like really really successful run. You know what I mean? And so uh, yeah, he invited me to do the record, and I loved it. You know what I mean? And it's probably one of my favorite collabs that I've ever done. A lot of people mention that one. You know what I mean? That's one of their favorites. I hear that one a lot. I hear Rick
Yeah.
Ross, "Tears of Joy." You know what I mean? That's one of people's favorites too. And then I
So
know people really like North Star that I did with Offset.
nice. I was actually going to mention one more, and that's "Little Star" for you did with Khalees. You remember that
Yeah.
one?
Oh, of
That was
course.
I like that one a lot too.
Yeah. I was me and Khalees were also friends too.
Okay.
Um, and she recognized me, as a writer, and I'm always flattered and you know and prompted by the opportunity to go in and try to contribute and do my best. You know what I mean? Especially for the sake of someone who's depending on me. You know what I mean? So I always feel commanded by that. You know what I mean? And humbled by it. So yeah, Little Star is just a song about that same kind of humility. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Um,
Nice.
I was if you listen to it, I was kind of vibing off of the Spinners, if you
Mm.
recall, or working
Wow.
working my way back to you. I'll be working my
Yeah.
way back to you, babe. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. And just final question for you before we get out of here. Just thinking back to when you stepped out as a solo artist from Goody Mob, do you remember what that decision was like to do that and pursue that solo career after having so much success with the group?
Yeah. If you recall, um, even people, I see people mentioning the unsung episode last night. I really
Mm.
hope people enjoyed that. And you know, it was discussed, it was agreed upon, and it was
Mm.
initiated by us being separate entities, and we were just kind of being practical in a way of where we could all, seize the opportunity while the door was open. Outcast had just opened the door. LaFace Records was interesting, and okay, Rico Wade, Organized Noise, what else you guys got? And so,
Mm.
we were all friends from school and from the neighborhood. So it was really natural for us to do it, but it was agreed. You know what I mean? Like, Cujo and Timo, let's be factually accurate. They started Goody Mob. That was their group. I came in as a solo artist, and Big Gip and Cool Breeze were actually in another group called the East Point Chain Gang, and they had just disbanded, not too long prior. So he came aboard as a solo artist as well. And so we didn't realize that we would gel and stumble upon a synergy that really signified something, and we didn't realize that we
Right.
would become beloved in that way, and it would lead us into a career, where it garnered us, 3 consecutive gold albums. But at that time, it was my prerogative, to to step out and show the world what I was made of. And
Right.
obviously, you know what I mean. As you see now, I was right. I was right to do so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. But I couldn't really, I couldn't really guarantee it for anyone. You know what I mean? And I think there was a little bit of apprehension, even though it was agreed upon, because that it's equal parts. You don't necessarily want to see your friend fail, at something that they want
Right.
to try for the first time, and then you also don't want success, if in fact success happens, to take that person away from you. You know what I'm saying? So like it's mixed emotions. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so but I knew intuitively I'm very trusting of my instinct and intuition and my spirit and my soul, and it spoke to me, and I knew that it was time. You know what I mean? Like I had paid my debt to Dungeon Family, you know, by aiding us and being instrumental in us having, you know, an illustrious career. You know what I mean? Like as Goody Mob, and I always knew that I would return back home. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I just needed an opportunity to win, lose, or draw. And I won.
Gotcha.
I won a couple of times, man. I took the leap and I landed on my feet.
Yep. Yes, you did, man.
You know.
And the rest is history, man. Thank you for sharing that story with us.
And then what did I do? I brought my success. You know, I brought it and I shared it. I brought it back home and you know, and put it on the table.
That's important.
And here we are again, 25 years later. You know, celebrating ourselves and the success that we've had. You know, all of my brothers are still alive and well. You know, we succeeded, whether it be moderate, and I'm saying, like, you know, or what have you, or milestone, you know what I mean? Like, you know, with individual and independent endeavors and projects, you know what I mean? Like there's a multitude of music people can go and find, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes, right, you know, certain projects don't have the budget, you know, where the marketing and the promotion is as relative or apparent as other projects. You know, I was signed to a major label, so you saw what I was doing a lot more. You know what I'm saying? So, right, you know, that's what it was. But nobody's mad at each other, like, you know what I mean? Because that success, you know, is only helping us, you know what I mean, going forward. And here we are. I'm an independent artist again, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So therefore I can now do what I like to call the one-man Wu-Tang. And what I mean by that is, you know, I have an album with Dan Auerbach coming out. Lead single is Lead Me, as you know, on all of the platforms. It's #2 right now at radio for most added record. So it's doing amazingly well, you know what I mean? Like, you know, over this last week. And then I'm also recording another Goody Mob album as we speak. So, wow, you know, so I'm doing that. And then also I'm recording Gnarls Barkley at the moment too. So I'm very, very busy. Wow. You know what I mean? Wow. Being very, very proactive. Like, I'm going to be so prepared. People are going to be so pleased. You know what I'm saying? And shocked and satisfied. You know what I mean? I just try not to stretch myself too thin where the quality of the content suffers. So it takes a little bit more time, you know, to get in these, you know, separate, you know, headspaces. You know, I have to compartmentalize. You know, I'm CeeLo Goody when I'm Goody Mob. I'm myself as CeeLo Green, and you know, I'm whoever the other guy is. You know, in Gnarls Barkley. I don't know what to call him.
Oh man, I love it, man. CeeLo, just really admire your passion and your hustle, man. You know, working so hard. You know, we're definitely, you know, behind you, supporting, especially as an independent artist. We're even more happy to support you in what you're doing. Love that first single. Definitely looking forward to hearing the album.
Thank y'all, man, and thank y'all for the love and support throughout the years. There's much, much more where it comes from. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate it, and it's all for the love of the people, man. So, like, I just want to send out love and admiration, a word of compassion, and a gesture of kindness to those who are suffering from a little bit of mild case of cabin fever, being quarantined, for those who may have been stricken with the actual illness, and for those families who may have lost someone because of this ordeal. You know, so you're in our thoughts and you're in our prayers. You know, we feel for you and we have compassion, and hopefully our music can be considered essential in this time of need. You know what I mean? Like, because that's the purpose that we would like to serve. And that has always been our mantra and our mission statement. You know what I mean? Like, power to the people, much love.
100%, man. Thank you so much for your time for this interview. We appreciate it. Before you go, do you mind just giving us a drop real quick?
Oh, for sure, man. This is yours truly. Uh-oh. I got it.
You could just say something like, "This is CeeLo Green, and you know I got soul."
Oh, this is yours truly, the human vaccine, CeeLo Green. Oh, you know I got soul, baby.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you again for your time.
For sure.
Take care.
Got it.